One decision can rewrite your entire life. The day you choose growth over comfort is the day success begins to chase you. Ayan had always felt like life was a river that carried him along without asking where he wanted to go. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't well off either. He had food on his table, a small apartment, and a job that paid just enough to keep him going. Yet every evening, when he returned home and sat on his worn-out couch, a strange emptiness weighed on him. He scrolled endlessly through his phone, watching people who seemed younger than him driving luxury cars, speaking on stages, traveling to breathtaking places, and living the kind of life he secretly dreamed about. The thought always came like a whisper, "Why not me? Why can't I live like that?" But instead of answering the question, Ayan would silence it with distraction. He told himself that successful people were lucky, that they were born in the right families, that they had opportunities he never had. He convinced himself that life was unfair and that he had no choice but to keep walking the same dull road he was on. One evening, as he sat in silence, his old school teacher, Mr. Karim, came to visit. The teacher had always been kind to him, the sort of man whose words carried wisdom that struck straight to the heart. Seeing Ayan's tired eyes, Mr. Karim asked, "You look restless, son. What troubles you?" Ayan sighed and forced a smile. "Nothing, sir. Just life. I work, I earn, I eat, I sleep. But I feel like I'm stuck. Everywhere I look, people my age are moving ahead, achieving things, and I'm just here." The teacher leaned forward, his gaze steady. "Do you know the difference between you and those successful people you admire?" "They are lucky," Ayan replied bitterly. "They had chances. I didn't." Mr. Karim shook his head gently. "No, Ayan, the difference is not luck. It is their decisions. Every day, they choose growth, while you choose comfort." The words hit him harder than he expected. For the rest of the evening, Ayan kept replaying them in his mind. They choose growth, while you choose comfort. That night, he tossed and turned, unable to sleep. For the first time, he wondered if perhaps his own choices, not fate, not destiny, not luck, were the reason for his stagnant life. The next morning, he woke up early, something he had never done willingly before. His alarm rang, and his hand instinctively moved to hit snooze, but he stopped. He remembered the teacher's words. Instead of sleeping more, he sat up and forced himself out of bed. It was difficult. His body begged him to return to comfort, but a new thought pushed him forward. "If I keep doing what I've always done, I'll keep getting what I've always gotten." Instead of wasting time scrolling through his phone, he picked up an old book lying on his shelf, one he had bought years ago but never read. He began with just 10 pages. Though it felt strange at first, he realized something. He had learned more in that 1 hour than in weeks of idle scrolling. That single decision became a seed. The following day, he woke up early again. Then the next. Slowly, he built a routine. He started jogging in the morning, feeding his body energy instead of letting it decay in laziness. He replaced negative YouTube videos with motivational talks. His phone, once a source of endless distraction, began to turn into a tool for growth. Yet it wasn't easy. His old habits fought back like enemies unwilling to surrender. Some days, he lost. He slept in. He wasted hours online. He felt guilty. But instead of quitting, he reminded himself of a lesson from his teacher. Growth is never a straight line. It is a battle. You don't lose unless you stop fighting. With time, Ayan began to notice changes. He was more alert at work. His confidence grew. He no longer felt invisible. His colleagues noticed his energy. His family saw the light in his eyes return. But the greatest change came not from outside, but within. For the first time in years, Ayan felt hope. He realized he had power, the power of choice. He could choose discipline over laziness. He could choose courage over fear. He could choose growth over comfort. Months passed, and Ayan began applying these principles to his career. His job wasn't fulfilling, and deep inside, he dreamed of building something of his own. But the thought of starting a business terrified him. What if he failed? What if people laughed at him? What if he lost the little stability he had? One evening, as he sat reflecting, he remembered a phrase from one of the books he had read. "If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs." Those words pierced his heart. He knew he couldn't keep living this way. So he made a decision. He started small. With his modest savings, he created an online store. He didn't tell many people, fearing their judgment. He worked late nights, building the website, learning marketing, experimenting with products. He faced rejection after rejection. Orders were few, mistakes were many, and the temptation to quit was strong. Each time he felt overwhelmed, he remembered Mr. Kareem's voice. "Comfort is a slow poison. Growth is a painful medicine. Choose wisely." So he persisted. There were nights when he cried in frustration, days when he doubted everything, and mornings when his body begged him to stop. But he kept going. Slowly, the results began to show. A few orders turned into dozens. Dozens grew into hundreds. The business that once seemed like a foolish gamble started becoming a real source of income. Years passed, and the small store grew into a successful brand. Ayan had more than money. He had freedom, freedom to create, freedom to travel, freedom to live life on his terms. He was no longer the man who scrolled through his phone, envying others. He had become the man others looked up to. One day, a young student approached him at a seminar and asked, "Sir, how did you change your life and become successful?" Ayan smiled, remembering the boy he used to be, the boy full of excuses, trapped in comfort, envying others instead of building himself. He replied gently, "I stopped blaming life, and I started building it." The moment you take full responsibility for your life, success begins to chase you instead of you chasing it. The student nodded, eyes shining with inspiration. And in that moment, Ayan realized the greatest reward of his journey wasn't the money, the recognition, or the freedom. It was the ability to inspire others to believe in themselves. Ayan's small steps soon became bigger ones. With new discipline, he started an online business. At first, it was failure after failure. No sales, rejections, and sleepless nights. Many times he thought of quitting, but the voice of his teacher reminded him, "Comfort is a slow poison. Growth is a painful medicine. Choose wisely." He kept choosing growth. Slowly, orders began to come. Customers trusted him, and his effort turned into success. What started as a small attempt became a strong business. Years later, standing in front of young students, Ayan shared his secret. "I changed my life the day I stopped making excuses. When you take responsibility, success stops running away and starts chasing you." This story gives us a message that success is never about luck. It is about daily choices. Change your habits, change your mindset, and you will change your life.